justice to skin renderings or face renderings because of the resolution and the blurring of the projectors. Here you have the full team with Javier Palen leading the research. So let me present Laurel, one of our testing characters. This is running at 180 frames per second. There are many things that are important for character rendering. For example, the modeling, the shadows, the eyelashes, the specular reflections, the occlusion, the skin, post effects, and of course the eyes. Knows to be the windows of the show, and for me of extreme importance for showing emotions. Notice that to a certain degree we manage to hold up the realism even in a macro situation like this. Here you can see the light transport happening in the eyes, including light refraction, and also the smooth color shadows in the top of the eye, produced by surface scattering. In this one, you can see the power the eyes can have for showing emotion, the soft speculars of another skin, and the importance of deep of field for portrait shots. This one shows how soft lighting can reduce even further the specularity of the face, or how important the eyes are for how important the eyes can become for a composition. In this one, you can see how the soft diffuse lighting can be combined with a very strong specular band, and how thin grain can add realism to a character shot. There isn't too much to say about this one. Notice the strong bump in the nose and how smooth it looks at the same time. Achieving this is for me one of the biggest challenges we face. To be able to represent images with hard lighting configurations and having them still look right. You can also look at the reflections in the eyes and how they reveal how well they are, which in many times reflect the character emotion. And last but not least, notice how light is traveling in the nose of the character, how light is reflecting in the eyes, and the subtle yet noticeable pore detail in the face. So I'm going to show you some images turning on and off, features that we are using. This is with everything turned off. This is on again. Notice that how the character turns into a dot when we turn off the special rendering features. They are especially important when you are closer to the character. This is off. And this is one. Notice the occlusion in the eyes, the speculars in the cheek of the character. In this one you can look at the refraction in the eyes. Notice that the stare of the character is completely broken if you don't do anything to properly model the eyes. And in my opinion, I think that this technology has the potential to take a current generation character like this one and bring it to the next generation live. So what's going on? The answer for me is simple. In real world, nothing is perfect, but we usually tend to render everything too perfectly, which leaves our characters in the uncanny valley. The level of details modeled for characters has increased in the past few years. There are many games with incredibly beautiful and detailed faces. Unfortunately, if we don't raise the technology to this same level, what you will get again is something like this. So disappear and turn it into something more like this, which feels more natural. This is the regular sailing and this is ours. So we begin with the Black Ops 2 specular model as foundation, which has been proven to be production already. It is physically based, which means it produces really accurate results. And using this model, we try to mimic the results from an state-of-the-art technical report from the ICT, the Institute of Creative Technologies, where they describe a very accurate skin capture system In my opinion, one of the key contributions of the paper is that it reveals the importance of having two specular laws for skin rendering. They obtain these low parameters using fitting techniques, but we managed to get similar results by simply visually adjusting them versus using two. You can see that you have a smooth specular layer, and on top of that you have a more sharp specular layer that produces more glints and variations in the specular reflections. So you may be thinking that this is going to be expensive, but if you do a proper vectorization of code, this only adds 2 instructions per byte. And diving further into the ICT technical report, you can see that they not only fit the BRDF using capture microgeometry, but they actually render with it. Notice how the microstructure pattern breaks the synthetic appearance of the reflections. And we wonder again if we could find a solution plausible for using in real time, and especially in games. So it's really when you look from close. So this is what we should be getting, and this is what you get if you don't do anything for specular anti-aliasing. So if you want to have consistent speculars at all the distance, you need to really take care of that properly. So now the next topic is the human pose. And this beautiful image is a scanned electron micrograph of a human pose. Notice that there is a lot of occlusion happening there. And you may be thinking that I am crazy, but this is and that this is not relevant for rendering at all. And I thought the same, but I was wrong. If we compare a render with a photograph, you will notice that we are getting specular reflections inside of the pores. This is in general not physically possible, as there is a hole in there. So to solve this problem, we just know that a simple approach could be to use a cavity map. And here you have a comparison between not using anything and using the cavity map. And it is subtle, but it breaks the pattern of the speculars a little bit further, introducing more imperfections to the image. This is with and this is without. I will skip also the details. It is not trivial to do this, but you can check the implementation details in the full slide if you are interested in this. So the next topic related with the light transport is global illumination, or maybe better said, faking it. That is what we are actually doing. And we found occlusion to be of extreme importance, both for the skin and for the eyes, and especially when using light probes for lighting. So this is a shot with our full occlusion solution, and this is where we started. You can see this is not looking really good. So we first add skin space and occlusion, and it improves a little bit the situation, but not much really. And then we also combine that with vague ambient occlusion for low frequency features and static features like the ear and also the chin. And it is starting to look better. This is with skin space, this is with skin space and vague. This is starting to look better, but still not there, especially because the Fresnel is triggering very high speculars of the silhouette of the character. So adding a stronger specular occlusion helps a little bit with that, but it is still not there. So we also have bend normals for reducing the specular intensity on the silhouette. This is using a stronger specular occlusion, and this is with bend normals. You can see that especially in the nose and the chin, there is a reduction in the specular intensity. So the next step was to add saturated ambient occlusion, which enables color shadowing and reflections, making the lighting in the face to be more coherent. In a related topic, I have prepared a comparison to highlight the importance of proper shadowing. Here you have regular shadow mapping. You can notice how unnatural the shadows look like, especially for the eyeglasses. And using soft shadows improves the situation, but removes completely the shadows. And you can see how using variable penumbra shadows enables proper soft shadows, while still rendering proper contact shadows, especially in the eyelashes area. This is soft shadows, and this is variable penumbra. It's subtle, but it adds a little bit more the consistency of the head. So this case. However, Antonio Antoniazzi has developed a UV layout that enables to keep most of the details in just 1K. I'm going to just show this to you. So this is the original 2K by 4K textures, and this is 1K by 2K. And as you can see, there is little difference on the projector. There is a slightly difference in the monitor, but it is okay. And you can even reduce that further to half the size for the diffuse. You get little more blur details in the eyebrows, but I mean, this is plausible for the use in a game. So, surface scattering importance depends on a lot of variables. Maybe for a smooth woman character in an ambient lighting situation, it is not crucial, as you can see in this comparison. This is off and this is on. This is a subtle difference. But if you have a hard wrinkled surface or a hard lighting configuration like this one, then it's in these cases where it is extremely difficult to achieve realistic results without sacrificing, without using the surface scattering. This is off and this is on. So it is also important to render better. It is also important for modeling better transitions between different objects, like for example the skin and the eye. And I don't think this will be really disabled on the skin a little bit. You can see that light is scattering from the eyelids to the eyelashes when we have surface scattering turned on for the eyes, which makes everything to be more consistent. So the areas without transmit light is much more smoother and looks more realistic, and also has less artifacts, especially in the eyes area. We also tried spherical harmonics. You can check the results in the final slides. Well, we don't like too much the results because we have a lot of light leaking happening in certain lighting configurations. So the next topic I want to talk about is eye shading. A lot of you will already know this, but let me quickly review the most important eye parts. The sclera is the white part of the eye, the iris is the color part, and the pupil, the black part inside of the iris. And finally, the cornea is the thin transparent layer that covers all these elements and the origin of the refraction phenomenon happening in the eye. So I will talk about each of the features of the shader one by one, first motivating the problem and then showing what happens in our real-time demo, and finally explaining the idea behind our solution. So this is the first feature I want to talk about, which is the reflections on the eyeball, which are probably one of the most important things you have to take into account. Without them, you actually kill the character. And direct light reflections are usually not enough for most lighting configurations. So we tried environment map reflections, and we obtained something like this, which is better but looks a little bit like a mirror. So the challenge for us was how to break this mirror-like appearance into something more like this. So looking at real eyes, we realized that you can see a strong sign-like distortions, really similar to the skin ones, to be honest, originated by low-frequency changes in the normals of the fluid surface. They only happen on the sclera, the white part, having perfect sharp reflections in the cornea. So we could simply created an eye map using sign functions and then generated a normal from it. And these little changes improve the quality of the reflections by a great margin. But then we try to discover what are the visual cues that make eye look well. For that, we shoot we shoot eyes in different conditions, using a checkerboard for having predictable results. And the main difference we have found between a dry and a wet eye is that, as you will see in this sequence, there is an increase in the band of the reflections. You can see on the right of the iris, the reflections on the sclera are just spreading a little bit and having more strong distortions. So just by changing the band, give an important clue about how well this is an eye. Here you have a movie. This is a dry situation, and then by increasing the band, you can have more variations and distortions when you move the camera, making a visual cue to the viewer that the eye is more wet. And the other visual clue that we have found to be important is the specular lines in the eyelids. To model this, we created different geometries for simulating different wetness conditions and then save them. Here you have a shot without the wetness geometry, and here you have another one with. It is subtle, but it has the impression that the eye is really wet. So for variable and macro shots that probably are not useful in general for games, but will be in some cases, we have found that it is also interesting to blur the details that are behind the wetness geometry. So you can see on the right of the eye, when we do the blurring, the carbuncle is looking a little bit more integrated and more wet. This is without blur, and this is with. And this also helps to soften the edge between the sclera and the skin, making everything more consistent. And here, some other with some redness applied. And for doing this in a fully dynamic way, we use a dynamically generated veins map to separate the veins from the sclera, so that you can control the redness in a more artistic or controllable way. And this can be coupled with the wetness setting I presented before, having more convincing drying effects. So finally, post effects, and as I suppose you will be tired of me, and we will really will be with this one. So what happened is that in the past few years, we not only increase the bump details in the character modeling, but also increase the screen resolution. And as you can imagine, the higher the resolution, the harder the challenge. So an image rendered at 1080p looks extremely synthetic, extremely perfect. And this is where post effects is extremely useful. So I don't have too much time, so I will highlight the main features that I believe makes our renders to look more natural and stable. The first one is that we are using temporal supersampling, which can be described as a smart blend of two consecutive frames. And something good about this that is usually not taken into account is that all jitter techniques that you are using, like surface scattering, sound mapping, ambient occlusion, skin space reflections, and so on, will double the sample rate for free, which is extremely useful. So you can either double the quality or double the performance. Okay, so this is Lauren, and I'm going to show you how the realism holds even when I start to approach to the character. You will see that the specular reflections looks quite real even when extremely close to the face, and how well they behave in motion also. You can notice especially on the forehead. So here you have the specular, the shoot of the specular, the microstructure geometry, the blurring of the wetness geometry. I think this finished my part, because I am running a bit out of time, so Javier will continue with the animation part.
So the next thing is it's Jorge says animation. We got this beautiful renderer, but does it move? The team has been working on this, and we have gotten this to. We tried to see if the renderer would hold under movement, and we had to see whether we can actually make something that performs well under with good animation. So there's two things that I would like to show over here. One, Jorge mentioned the work on the refraction, light refraction on the eyes, and this is very noticeable when you are under animation. It's a very important mark. The second thing that I would like to show is that the subtle details on this rendering hold pretty well. So the question is how we did this. I'm going to stop the animation. I'm going to switch back to the cursor. So